Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for our next version of Pop the Cork with Atlantis. Today, we're joined by Shelly Kurt. She is the Food and Beverage Creative Development Manager, and Chef Clayton Sleff, who is the chef de cuisine of the hotel. They're going to talk to us all about a new program at Bistro Napa called Cocktails and Crostini, and it's a really cool program. Yes, we love it. We love it.
So, rocks.
To the people who are joining us, feel free to ask questions. Type your question on the phone, and we will make sure to get that answered live here in the Bistro Napa. But go ahead, tell me so Cocktails and Crostini, how did this kind of come about?
Well, we've been working with food and wine pairing for years, doing wine dinners. We have our monthly events, and we just wanted to bring it to a more daily experience, experimenting more with spirits as opposed to, a lot of people are familiar with wine pairings. Take it a little more in depth, getting some different nuanced flavors from myriad products that are out on the market. And we have a really close relationship between food and beverage here. So the beverage team gets to play with the chefs and vice versa, and we have an ongoing dialogue. And this is one of the products of our most recent dialogue. So
this was fun to create. We had a good time the other night. We were all sitting out here and talking and drinking, and Kay and Shelly and I were bouncing concepts back and forth between each other. And we said, why not create cocktails that you can put a small bite with? Or in this, each one you get 2 crostinis, which are equivalent to about 5 to 6 bites. And it doesn't overfill you. It gives you an opportunity to taste new things with paired drinks that are already ready. It's not a test. It's not an experience. You go into it already knowing that it's going to work.
Sure.
But it helps you create a wonderful conversation at the table about the pairings and the flavors and the different textures.
Right. So usually when we're talking about pairings, it's wine and food, right? So this concept is totally new. It's food and cocktails. So what are some of the things you have to think of and be mindful of when you're pairing a cocktail with a food item?
Well, it's not so much different than food and wine pairing. When we talk about wine pairings, we think of the different flavors that come out of the wines and try to find a bridge to the food products. So that's what we're doing, but now we're doing it with spirits and liqueurs involved. Like, for instance, this one that we'll make here is kind of it's a champagne-based drink, so kind of maybe something that you would have at brunch or dessert. And there's so many lovely liqueurs out there, and we've been playing around with this is a elderflower liqueur from France, and so this kind of floral character is bridging with a version of our lingonberry and baked brie. We have it on our regular menu, but we shrunk it down so you can just try it alongside some sparkling wine with fresh berries and a beautiful French liqueur.
So you're going to make that drink, yeah?
Absolutely,
Okay, so walk me through what it is.
So fresh berries, I used raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries.
Delicious.
Some sparkling wine.
Who does it?
I'm using
bubbles?
a Domaine Chandon.
Bubbles are
I know.
great.
Who
Bubbles are
doesn't
great.
like bubbles?
Yeah.
And this could work for dessert. It could work for brunch. And the berries are providing fruitiness and also a little natural sweetness. This is a dry bubble, so any sweetness needs to be added.
Which went to me.
And then we're just going to add a little splash of the elderflower liqueur, if the bottle will open for me.
So elderflower liqueur, what's that like? What's it taste like? Is it floral, like I'm thinking?
It's extremely floral. It's kind of perfumey.
Oh, nice.
So it plays with the fruitiness of the berries, bridges with the fruit of the preserved lingonberries, but then by putting it with a triple cream brie, you have a creaminess factor that is, the dryness and the crispness of the bubbles cuts the creaminess of the cheese. You have the crunch from the crostini. There's a lot of things going on in just one sip and one bite.
And I like that it's vegetarian.
Yes.
I really, really like that.
In fact, all of our offerings out here are vegetarian. We have a total lineup of 5. We brought out 3 today, and the other one does have a barbecue shrimp, and the other has a chimichurri sirloin. But
nice.
These are our vegetarian offerings.
Okay, so you have one already made here. What
Yes.
what is this one that we're looking at on your right, our left?
This is the drink is a rosemary gin fizz. So very, very, play on a traditional drink. We use Tanqueray 10. The fizz comes from egg white. We use a little Vecchio Amaro de Capo. We've been playing with different Amaros in our liquor program.
Say that fast.
Right?
Yes, Vecchio Amaro de Capo. And with the herbaceousness of the muddled rosemary and the bright citrus from the lemon, we are bridging to some Mediterranean flavors.
Exactly. Some beautiful. We got some beautiful organically inspired yellow squash, green zucchini, purple onions, Roma tomatoes, red and yellow sweet bell peppers, and then these are sautéed with essence of garlic and some array of fresh seasonings, and then hit with a little bit of marinara, our house marinara that we make here in the bistro, and then finished on top with just the essence of Parmesan cheese and just a touch of a chiffonade of basil.
Looks fantastic.
These liqueurs that we have, alcohols we have going on, will blend well together.
Mm-hmm. It's really playing on the bright flavors of the citrus and herbaceousness of gin and vegetables. It's essentially ratatouille on a crostini.
There you go.
Bingo.
Very
Ratatouille.
nice. Ratatouille. Okay, and then for the third one, so on the Bistro Napa Cocktails and Crostini menu, we have a total of 5 that you can choose from right now. It's offered every night in the Bistro Napa?
Every night after social hour. So it begins at 6, offered 7 days a week.
Yum. Okay, so what's this last one that we're looking at here?
Well, this is a little more savory, if you will, and this is probably one of the more esoteric pairings. And I'll make the drink.
Let's switch.
Let's switch.
Dancing in the
3.
room.
So the drink is called the Colonial Manhattan, and it is a Colonial Manhattan because there are 3 different colonial powers acknowledged in the drink. We have Amontillado sherry from Spain. We have French cognac, and then we made a house-infused vermouth with Earl Grey tea. And so the Brits are in there. So, a Manhattan is a classic drink, and we do a lot of plays on classics.
Right.
So that's what we did here. A lot of folks are used to seeing Manhattans that are based on whiskey. Brandy Manhattans are fairly common as well. So this is a play on a brandy Manhattan, and we're using French cognac.
And I love this too because, like we were talking about earlier, it's a nibble. It's 5-6 bites of a crostini with a perfectly paired cocktail. It really helps you to start to educate your palate. You can start to pull out different flavors and see kind of what you taste and pull those out. So I think that's really neat that you can do that in such a small taste.
You can do a virtual culinary trip around the world without feeling like you had a huge 4-course meal and feeling kind of bilious and overwhelmed.
Right, it's a really good intro to pairings.
You can go from, the fields of Provence to colonial America, just kind of jazz age gin fizz, and so it's just all there to try, and you can just take a little journey and turn around and go someplace else, 10-15 minutes later.
Love it. This looks fantastic.
So Manhattans are,
look at that pretty color.
We stir instead of shake. And then we always release the orange oils. And traditionally, fortified wines are paired with a very traditional pairing is mushrooms and truffles. So we have a crostini that has wild mushrooms, goat cheese, and a little drizzle of truffle oil. So very aromatic, savory pairing with a savory cocktail.
And I know everyone watching, you're not here, but you can actually smell that truffle oil, and it's amazing. So yeah, definitely one
very
that you'll want
aromatic.
to check out. Yes, for sure. So this is offered, like you said, every night in the Bistro Napa after 6 p.m.
After 6 p.m., come in and enjoy our lounge. It's a great place. We can push a bunch of tables together. You can bring all your friends, and order the whole menu and nibble and talk.
And there really is kind of a resurgence of wanting to know, like, you know, the cocktail scene is growing and wanting to know kind of how to make these classic cocktails and different spins on classic cocktails, and then also how to pair those with food. So that's what we're doing here, and it's really educational and fun at the same time.
And if there's something you like, we'd be happy to show you how to make it at home. Try the recipe. It's much more fun to not have to do the dishes, and there's a lot of
Call Chef
Clay, dishes involved.
Yes.
Give Shelly a call. We're always happy to share and teach and learn and educate. If you're in here and you want to do that, just ask to see one of us. We'll be happy
to come out and chat.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So thank you so much for sharing that. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Cocktails and Crostini program. Our next event at the Atlantis is a Joseph Phelps wine dinner. It is on Tuesday, March 28th.
Yes, 6 p.m. at the Steakhouse.
If you want to check out that menu, you can find it online at atlantiscasino.com/dining. I would recommend that you make your reservation quickly. That one's going to fill up pretty fast.
And we will be pouring the insignia.
We will be pouring. You heard it here first. We will be pouring the insignia. So make sure that you check out that menu. And thank you so much. Do you have any last parting words to our Facebook Live followers?
Bon appetit.
Love it. Cheers. Thank you so much, guys.
Cheers.